Fellow Africans, I am not surprised that Chinese would come to our continent, go and settle in Nigeria, in Abuja, open a supermarket, and then refuse Nigerians to enter that supermarket. It is not a shock to me because Chinese people, just like the Caucasian people, has never viewed Africans as equal human beings. The only way they look at Africa is as an opportunity to profit on. I also want to speak about the statements made by the former Army General of French that they will recolonize Africa within 10 years. Let's speak about that and much more.
Welcome to King Said So, Africa's one land, one language, one currency, one army on King Said So. Africans can unite. Your Pan-Africanist podcast. Enjoy.
Black Heart, the hustle continua. 100% good quality t-shirts, made to inspire your goals and dreams. T-shirts are now available at an affordable price. Place your order now. 068-473-6908. Instagram at Black7576. Facebook page Black Heart.
Well, officials of the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, FCCPC, has sealed up an Abuja-based Chinese supermarket situated at the China General Chamber of Commerce. The FCCPC officials shut the supermarket when they stormed the premises after interrogating Nigerian workers at the supermarket. Nigerians had earlier expressed outrage over a discriminatory policy by the Chinese supermarket, which restricted entry exclusively to its citizens and barred Nigerians. The facility manager of the complex, Shaibu Sanusi, confirmed that Nigerians from outside the complex do not shop, but Nigerians within can access it.
Peace in Pan-Africanism to all my African brothers and sisters from all around the world. Welcome back to King Said So. I am your host, King 053, Mr. Easy Imali Eneng. And we're back at it again with another one. And this time around, we are going to Abuja in Nigeria, where the nerve of Chinese people who moved to Africa due to overpopulation in their country, moving here seeking for better economic opportunities such as business opportunities, and then they open a supermarket in Abuja, and then they refuse Nigerian people to enter the supermarket. Well, you know how Nigerians are. Of course, they did not take this lightly. They did not take this kindly.
Te voy a YouTube, te voy a jaque ka koy naman. Te voy a jaque naman.
Videos on social media started surfacing. Some of you saw the videos, you told me about it. I was only made aware about this, I think, yesterday. So you asked me, King, please give us your thoughts about this. We are not shocked, ladies and gentlemen, as to what is happening in Nigeria. We are not shocked. Nigeria, I believe, is one of the top 3 countries in Africa that has a lot of Chinese people. I believe 1 million people stay in Nigeria. So Nigeria has got a lot of Chinese people. I think South Africa is number 1. You guys can fact check me. I'm not sure. I will post the population of Chinese people in Africa and see if I'm right. But anyway, we are in a situation where continuously videos have surfaced on the internet where our Nigerian brothers and sisters, our African brothers and sisters have been mistreated in China. This is a norm in China. Chinese people don't see Africans as humans. They see us as monkeys, Chinese people. Very racist against Nigerians. And
You know what?
就是如果你是来自
No， 你说英文，你不说英文了，又跟我说英文。
Yeah, if you come from Africa country, you can go in our building.
Why? But I live in China for 20 years, and I have already get my chance and everything. Why can't I stay China 20 years？ 我在中国20年了，为什么不能去啊？我到了88岁了，我住巴西大学了，我不能去别的地方，为什么不能去？你问我。
因为这是公安局给我们发的。
我还是公安局朋友的。
这是。
你可以问公安局是我啊，为什么不能去？我在中国20年还没去过啊。我想知道为什么非洲人不能去你们的这里？我想知道。我不想。
我们也是按照政府给我们。
我知道，我还是政府的朋友。我在这里管非洲人，我是警察。你想看我
I mean, against Africans, and the track record speaks for itself. Yes, they might have not colonized any African country like your European countries and the US did, but the racism that they show to Africa, it's really disgusting to watch some of these things. We saw it before COVID. You saw it on COVID, where our African brothers were stranded in the airports, being deported back to their country. It was a dangerous thing that was happening in China. They were chasing our African brothers and sisters away. The same people who saw us as animals come to our continent, and they come here for business opportunities. That is why yesterday we were angry when Leanne asked Rutendo, why are you here? Everyone is here for better business opportunities. White, black, green, yellow, pink, small eyes, big eyes, short, tall. When you move to another place, hopefully you are trying to better your life. You can't move to another place so that your life can be worse. You understand? And we should not blame human beings for doing that. That is quite normal as for us as the human species to do. But you cannot discriminate against the people of another country when you are an outsider. And that country being Africa. This borders thing is killing us as Africans. I have told you multiple times that China has got about 1.3, 1.4 billion people and one president. One president. Africa, same amount of people, 1.4, I believe we are at 1.5 billion people. And we've got more than 60 presidents in Africa. More than 60 presidents. Same population, one president, same population, 50-something president. When are we going to wake up and see that this thing of us having so many borders is killing our continent? It's killing the potential of our continent. So I'm happy that the Chinese customer consumer police or officers, whatever they call them there, they went there and closed that shopping center and the shopping mall, supermarket, whatever it is. And the owner ran away, saying, took their family running away. And you ask yourself, why are you running away? Where are you running to? Where are you running to? Yeah, you know the joke of these people. They don't take us serious, these people. And I am happy when I see this, because I want my African people to remember that all they have is each other. Africans, all you have is each other. You can run up and down and try to please your colonizers and try to please your European friends, your Chinese friends, your Russian friends, your Indian friends. At the end of the day, Africa only has Africa to fall back on. No one else will assist us. No one will treat us better. No one will elevate our life to the next dimension if we don't do it ourselves. We say African problems need African solutions, but we keep on seeing African presidents not uniting together. You have the BRICS, you've got ECOWAS, you've got the west of Africa doing its own thing, the north of Africa doing its own thing. You've got the central of Africa doing. You don't know where do Africans actually stand. We are always divided. And Chinese is not the first time they do this. Even in Africa, we have seen here in South Africa also very racist Chinese people towards our people. You have the same thing happening in Zambia. You have the same thing happening in Kenya. You saw Kenyans actually deporting Chinese people. Say you don't do that nonsense here. You don't do that nonsense here. Being racist to our own people in a construction site, they kick them out. And we applaud Kenya for doing that. So as Africans, we need to realize that we need to unite. We can run away from this unity. We can continue with our billions of presidents that we have. At the end of the day, a united Africa is a healthy Africa, and it's a rich Africa. Africa can close its ports. Africa can close its borders. Africa can close its airports, and Africa will do just fine without China, without Europe, without the US. It is them that will suffer. Their technology needs our minerals here. Our minerals, the cobalt mines in Congo, power the batteries of Samsung, Apple, Tesla, and all of the companies that need batteries, from watches to cell phones to TVs to cars. They need Africa to power us. You know that 70% of the electricity of France come from the uranium that they were stealing actually from Niger. I can count many countries that depend on the minerals of Africa. Here in South Africa, we are exporting coal like nobody's business to Germany and all the other countries that have got power stations that need coal. That is what is happening. Now, I want to play a clip for you guys where the former France army commander said that Africans are not good enough to keep control of the minerals. They are not good enough in running their country because they are running it to the ground, and they, as France, need to recolonize with an army force, Africa, so that they can control the minerals. And of course, our general, the youngest general in Africa right now, Ibrahim Traoré, said, if you dare try, we are prepared for you. Listen to this.
Though both speeches were delivered in French, I will provide translations to ensure a better understanding of the content. What is our common destiny as Europeans is the Mediterranean and Africa, where our destiny is at stake. And so we, the French, have constantly tried to train the Europeans in this awareness of the need to act collectively in Africa and the Mediterranean. And I am absolutely sorry to see the failure of our commitments to the Sahel. And I think that in any case, we will have to ask ourselves the question, because we cannot imagine having at our doors an entire continent that is plunging into the destruction of government and state apparatus, plunging into a form of civil war chaos in many countries and more countries, in difficulties that are linked to climate change, which are even more dramatic on vulnerable populations, such as African populations. In addition, a continent that is going to experience a demographic explosion like no other continent has ever experienced. And so imagine that this is happening here in the next 10 to 20 years, and that it will have no consequences on Europe because we live in a kind of bubble protected by I don't know what else. It is simply unconscious. And so I think that this common interest should one day make Europe decide to act as a political entity that will defend its own interests, including by means of the commitment of its armies. The withdrawal of the Sahel was difficult to accept for all those who were involved. I am the first to have a lot of trouble swallowing that. It is a French, European, and African failure, which mainly stems from what we have not understood, which is that the action should be a global action. The restoration of the state, the return of the administrations, the return of development. And if we cannot do all this simultaneously and in a coordinated way, we will fail. That's what happened. What I have trouble swallowing is when I am told that it is the failure of a military operation. The reality is that it is not the failure of a military operation. The military operation was a dimension. I am convinced that in a few years, I don't know if it is 10 years or less or more, we will have the obligation to return and help these African countries. It is not China, Russia, and Wagner who will bring sustainable solutions to the very great difficulties that these African countries and their populations know. Start preparing for the war of high intensity. I hope I make myself understood. It's not just terrorism. Open your eyes. It's much more than that. It's a war of decolonization. And you must have heard these last days, some other generals who made us understand that if they fail to come with their armies to recolonize us, they have to come. Well, prepare for the war of high intensity. Either they will come themselves or they will go through their local valets who are here to try to disturb our peace. So whoever, I say whoever, whether it's terrorism or any other army that must come to disturb our peace, we must prepare to welcome them in the long term and intensely. That's why I tell you, prepare for the war of high intensity. And we will follow these trainings. We will move on to other groups to intensify the operations and try to pacify. These are the steps. And this terrorism will be defeated because they know that it will be defeated, that they are preparing either at the local level here or to come with their armies to fight us. Well, we will prepare to welcome them. Thank you very much for all the work, everything that could be improved regarding the fighting conditions first, but also the working conditions. We will make an effort. More than ever now, you are one with the population. This is all we are looking for, the armed nations. Continue to keep this flame of unity with the civilian population so that they can support you. Because it is thanks to them that we can fight today. It is the people who understood. If the people had not understood, we would not be able to equip you like this. It is not possible. But the people understood, they committed themselves, and we are making a lot of effort so that the operational capacity only increases.
Now, I have repeated this many times to my African brothers and sisters. I said, Africans, we only have each other to fall on. Nobody else will help Africa when Africa is being attacked. Nobody. Nobody. You see the way you guys are crying for Palestine, the way you guys are crying for Ukraine. Nobody will cry for Africans. Nobody will come to the aid of Africans. Africans will have to unite. Africans will have to die to protect their own country. Nobody else will help us. What this general is saying is a very serious threat towards Africa. And I'm happy that Ibrahim Traore is taking this threat serious, saying to his army, prepare yourself, these people are coming. But the rest of Africa, generals, they are just sleeping. And nobody's taking this thing serious. But those who are colonized by France, they know that France is serious when they are saying this. Within the next 10 years, they are looking to recolonize our country again. When I say country, I mean Africa. Because we need to unite as Africa. These borders are the reason why we are so weak. The borders are the reason why Africa is so weak. The many languages that we speak are the reason why Africa is so weak. Cultural difference is okay, but let's have cultural unity. When we speak about one Africa, one currency, let's have one currency. Why do we need to have so many currencies in Africa? When we speak about one Africa, one land, we're asking the question, why so many borders? Why is it that China can have the same number of population as Africa, but Africa has got more than 54 countries with more than 54 presidents, but China has got only one president? Why? Why does India have 1.2 billion people, only one president? Why? Why must Africa have 1.3, 1.4 billion people, but have so many presidents? It's making us weak. We are speaking in divided voices in different directions. That is why these people will never take us serious as Africans. They will never take us serious because we are divided as a nation. We are divided as people. You understand? If people are going to discriminate Chinese people are going to discriminate our African brothers in Abuja, we as South Africa need to close the Chinese shops here. The consequences must be suffered and be felt the whole continent, not only in Abuja. Not only in Abuja, everywhere. Africans must unite and say, you did what? Where? We are closing all of these Chinese shops. That is the Africa that we Pan-Africanists dream about. An Africa that speaks one language, an Africa that speaks in one voice. When our African brothers in Nigeria suffer this pain, we feel it down in South Africa. And obviously, you know, South Africa and Nigeria is the same thing. Kiafana, brothers, just brothers. So many Nigerians here, so many South Africans that side. Like, we are family. We are family. You understand? The only time we don't meet is when Nigeria, the Super Eagles is playing Bafana Bafana. Then, you know, it's personal. It's very personal. Because we have Lagos here in South Africa, in Sunnyside. There's a place called Sunnyside, but we call it Lagos because the majority of the population of our Nigerian brothers and sisters is in Sunnyside. You understand what I'm saying? So for me, as long as Africa does not have nuclear power, as long as Africa does not upgrade its military machineries, as long as Africa does not upgrade its military trainings, as long as Africa does not have drones, as long as Africa does not have machineries, as long as Africa's sea forces or navy forces are up to date with the latest technologies, I don't see Africans stopping even a small country like France because they are so advanced in their military compared to us. They might not win the war, but the damage and the people they're going to kill is going to be too much. It's going to be too much. And somebody has to say it, that Africa needs to stand up and unite military-wise. Military-wise. We need to unite. I mean, our military personnel and our armies are failing to defeat rebels. Rebels that don't have helicopters, rebels that don't have drones. Well, these ones, the M23 in Congo do have drones. They got them probably from China. But most of the times, these rebels, all they have is grenades and AK-47. And you find that our armies are struggling to defeat those people. That right there should give us an enough significant warning that we don't have an army in Africa. No country can boast about having an army in Africa, especially the black African countries. No country can brag that they have. I mean, one of the top countries is Egypt and South Africa. South Africa does not have an army. We don't. We don't have an army whatsoever. We have army personnel, but I don't know what is it that they are doing there. I don't know. The army in South Africa is being used as job creation, job alleviation nonsense. Like people who go there, they actually wanted a job. They didn't actually want to go to the army. It's because they are unemployed and they were seeking for employment and they got into the army. That is the reality of South African army. You see, of course, there are those who are very dedicated, very good in their job, but they are exactly in the minority. So as Africans, I'm telling you guys, let's unite. Let's unite, guys. Let's unite as Africans. Let's make sure that we call upon our leaders to sit down and talk about the African army. The single African army and where it will be placed and how it will be distributed evenly throughout Africa. We need to have that honest conversation when we speak about Africa. Anyway, that is the warning. The US also feels the same. The US has got a lot of military camps in Africa, more than any other country outside Africa. I believe they are followed by France. It's crazy how many military camps they have in Africa as the US. The US also, if they wanted to, they could wipe us out if they wanted to. We don't have the defense to stop not even a full army of the US, but just a camp that they have placed in Africa. The weapons that they have is enough to wipe out the country if they wanted to. Now think about that as African people. Let's think about uniting each other. Okay, guys, that was my take on these two subjects. You guys tell me what you think on the comment section. It's very important to hear your thoughts on the comment section. I want to hear, what do you think about this Chinese situation? Do you think that we should show the Chinese how serious we are by closing all the Chinese shops in the entire Africa, even if it's momentarily, just to show them that they should never, ever, ever do that again? Or do you think Nigerians' problems is Nigerian problems, and that's a South African mentality? Don't have that mentality. That Nigerian problems is Nigerian problems, our problems is our problem. We need to unite as Africans. Until we meet next time, don't forget to pray. After you pray, stand up, African child. Do your best so that God can do the rest. Peace. Pan-Africanism. I salute you.